Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Buechler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And we have arrived at the Monday Nooner Delight. And oh my God, here I go. I'm going to hear myself again. God damn it. I always do that. Well, if this is the first podcast you're seeing from our channel, I'm sorry. And this is a solo broadcast. I decided to do a little test last Monday, just test some equipment, test a new computer, and see if I can do this on my own, because who knows, Dennis might call in sick one of these days. He hasn't yet, but one of these days I might have to roll on by myself. Actually, I've done a couple recaps by myself. So last week did okay, I guess a little bit. So let's see how long I can talk to myself today. But I'm actually not talking to myself, because we've got everybody in the chat. What's up, Jody, Apple Crow, Viking Bitch, Ghost World, the usual suspects. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Yeah, I know there's always some excuse. I'm full of them, Ghost World. But no, my wife has impeccable timing. I heard the dogs barking and had to take off right when I was supposed to start this. So I had a couple titles in mind for today, because I actually did a little research, perusing the internet. First one was going to be hashtag Oscars so normie, but nah, I was a little too on the nose. And then I was going to do what if Infinity War sucks, but we kind of covered that last Friday. So I decided to do Abe Sapien stole Wolverine's Oscar, which I still believe. The rare thing this year was there was two Best Pictures I actually saw in the theater. I saw oh God, what was the Winston Churchill one, and I saw Shape of Water. Darkest Hour, yes, Darkest Hour. And we had the Oscars last night, and we were busy podcasting. So thank you to everybody who was watching us instead of the Oscars. Oscars are something I stopped watching about 4 or 5 years ago. What really did it for me was when Dark Knight didn't get nominated for Best Picture. I was kind of over it. I thought we had gained some ground when Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring won Best Picture. I'm like, yes, we finally broke through, with all of the injustices of the past, which I will get to. But it seems like they've just kind of gone back to being the normal Oscars. Even after the Dark Knight fiasco, they expanded the Best Picture category to 10 films, I believe. And they haven't done much since then. Although I was shocked to see that Inglourious Basterds was nominated for Best Picture. What? That's crazy. So they've done it to and Avatar. They've done it with a couple films, but they didn't do it with two films this year in particular. One of them I can kind of understand, like Wonder Woman was kind of a phenomenon. It was a decent movie. It wasn't great. The third act kind of went downhill. Gal Gadot was awesome. It had some great scenes in it. So the first 2/3 were like superhero origin perfection, in my opinion. Steve Trevor was played well. It was just a well done movie, but that third act got very Zack Snyder. And I'm not a hater of Zack Snyder. It's just bad Zack Snyder instead of good Zack Snyder. And yes, there is a good Zack Snyder. Watchmen is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I'll probably get a lot of shit for that, but I freaking love that movie. So I believe that Logan I think it should have won Best Picture. At the very least been nominated, and Patrick Stewart should have won Best Supporting Actor. He was so brilliant, and they love to award actors for their body of work, and he's got an insane body of work, and he is a great performer. I saw him do a one-man show, A Christmas Carol, down in LA. It was brilliant, and anybody who could pull off a one-man show, which, from a guy who could barely pull off a podcast by himself, all my respect. So Patrick Stewart should have absolutely won the Best Supporting Actor. No disrespect to the people in movies I did not see, but that's it. The Shape of Water winning, I saw that movie. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie. It was pretty good. I love Guillermo del Toro. I love his sense of storytelling. He's not big on details. He's more of the beauty of storytelling. And let's not get too much into the details of the how, what, and why. And that's fine. I loved his Hellboy movies. Pan's Labyrinth, although I felt it was billed as something it wasn't, was a great movie. So yeah, I was very, very okay with The Shape of Water, and I'm glad it won because Doug Jones was in it, and Doug Jones deserves all the credit in the world. And it kind of was a comic book movie, if you think about it. A comic book movie did win Best Picture. It was Abe Sapien Falls in Love, and it had a lot of the elements of it. Just looked like a Hellboy movie. It looked like it's in Mike Mignola and Guillermo del Toro's universe, and it happened there. It was a little weird. There's another way to put that movie though that I heard another YouTuber say, which was kind of funny, which was you know the quote unquote degeneracy of it. I didn't see it that way, but if you look at things from the other side and you see that it's a movie about a sympathetic commie, a mute, and a merman, and then the mute has sex with the merman, of course it's going to win best picture. It's like, where are they going to go now? We don't want to know. But no, it was a comic book movie. It was a very sly way of making an Oscar-driven comic book movie. So I'm glad it won. I am, but Logan should have won, in my opinion. Let's get to some of the chat here. I'll go back. We'll go up to full of excuses. Yes, I'm always full. Ghost World wants his $1.99 back still. You can call the returns department. I will give you Dennis's phone number at the end of the podcast. I'm sure nobody will call him. There you go. Just heard Best Picture, and I think Coco was the best. Yes, Coco won. Jody was saying Coco won Best Original Song, and I guess there's something controversial with that because like it wasn't the best song, and The Greatest Showman should have won, but I have no idea on that one. Did any of you all watch the Oscars last night? What did you think? What's up, Jody? And what's up, Brian Smart and Apple Crow and Viking Bitch? There's a lot of talking to each other. I'm going to do a DNC here, scrolling down. Gary, would you guys consider doing a Nerdrotic Awards podcast, the Oscars, but stuff you've covered? Yeah, absolutely. As long as it, I think I'd want to do it a little different than other, because there's a lot of channels that do a lot of award stuff, and that was supposed to be our New Year's Eve podcast. We were going to do it at midnight, and it just didn't come together. We were actually going to do the Nerdrotic Awards, and it was going to be just a mixture of everything. What Dennis and I used to do was just pick our one favorite thing. We would just, at the end of the year, we go, well, we didn't do it this year. I don't know why, but yeah, maybe that's something you know what? That's something we can do next Friday. That could be our plan for next Fridays. We'll do the Nerdrotic Awards. Yeah, Dennis's favorite thing from a year ago was, I can't remember now. It was Ash vs. Evil Dead season 2, and mine was Daredevil season 2, I think. Daredevil still remains my favorite thing from Marvel season 1 and 2. Absolute favorite thing. I love it. The Best Mary Sue Awards. There will be a lot to choose from this year, and they would not all be there'd be a lot of males in that, to be honest with you. All right. Brian Smart says the Oscars have turned into a fellatio fest. Yes, I think they've always are. But one of the biggest problems I've had as soon as I started getting older and understanding, when I was young, but I was when I was 16, 17 when I started becoming a bitter old man, and I started seeing them for the kind of circle jerk that they were and elitist crap. When they started getting preachy, was a little much. Once in a while is fine. You've got that opportunity, take it. But I like the people when they win the awards and they're just grateful and they thank people. I think that's a good thing. Thank the people who got you there. And instead of, when Leonardo DiCaprio won one year, he wanted to talk about global warming, and that's fine. But take a few less jets, buddy. Okay, practice what you preach. Yeah. So So some of the injustices of the Oscars. Okay, I love to talk about these. This is something I've been bitching about since I was a kid. And the first argument I have is I hate the movie Annie Hall. F Annie Hall. Um, and this is before all the Woody Allen nonsense, which made me hate it more. But it was simply because it beat Star Wars for Best Picture. And I think Best Picture, the Academy has always been trapped in the moment and self-congratulatory, and they don't secretly, they hate superhero movies, they hate big blockbusters, and we're like 40 years in on this. But if you look at the AFI top 100 that came out like 15 years ago, all the movies that are around the top 10 were all beat out by lesser movies for Best Picture. So we had, yeah, Annie Hall, which some people may like, but it is not like an American classic like Star Wars. Star Wars is the Beatles. Star Wars changed film forever. Created a movement. Create it. You know, the whole nerd thing. It was started out with Star Trek and their fandom, but Star Wars like blew it up. It was an amazing time. It's hard to explain to somebody who wasn't alive back then, like how big Star Wars was and how different it was. All you have to do is watch Flash Gordon, the Flash Gordon movie, which came out after Star Wars, but it looks like it came out 5 years before Star Wars. Watch Logan's Run, a movie I love. But if you look at that compared to Star Wars, and they're only a couple years apart. I mean, Star Wars looks light years. Even like, you know, I don't know how many people have seen like the original version. And I don't know how much I remember it now. It's been so long since I've seen it. So another film, which this was a great tragedy, in my opinion. Chariots of Fire beating Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, that one scarred me, scarred my youth, my nerd youth. I was so pissed off. And great soundtrack, good Vangelis, but it's a bunch of old white guys running around beating out Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is, you know, it's always up there. My favorite all-time movies. It's either that or Fight Club or Lord of the Rings. It's one, you know, we just mix it all in there. It's all good. Or The Crow. And Gandhi beating E.T. is okay. I kind of came around on that one. I was like pissed about that one, but if you go back and watch Gandhi, that's freaking epic movie. So I can't complain about that. Empire Strikes Back not getting nominated, not being reviewed very well, and not making a lot. It made money. It was a hit, but it didn't make the money it deserved at the time. And it was definitely something that was appreciated, you know, about a decade later, kind of like Blade Runner, being beaten out by Ordinary People. And this is my favorite part of Hollywood. It's the most entertaining. Is I don't know if you guys noticed, but you always hear a lot of like, oh, that speech in the Oscars last night was so genuine. And they have to congratulate themselves, Hollywood, when they're genuine. That says something. I mean, normal people don't walk around going, man, you know, that thank you was so genuine. Thank you so much. You know, yeah. So they made a movie called Ordinary People, you know, and that's the thing they love the most, is they like to do, you know, peg reality. I'm not a big fan of dramas, people sitting around talking about their feelings. And that's the thing they love the most, because that's the thing they kind of can't be. Being an actor is a trip. All right. There's some, you know, like Tom Hanks, who are out there who are very comfortable in their own skin, are good at what they do, and are pretty good people. And there's a lot of them, but there's, you know, the method actors, the, you know, the crazy ones, the people who would be kind of homeless if they weren't actors, like Marlon Brando, or, you know, even like Heath Ledger, rest, you know, Galactus, rest their soul. But, you know, it's being an actor is tough, because sometimes you lose yourself, and that's why they're drawn to dramas. You know, I do kind of like how Leo DiCaprio doesn't go, you know, he stayed away from all those you know, sex pot teeny bopper roles, and really did something that was out of his wheelhouse a lot of the but it's become a thing. It would probably be flipping the script if he played somebody normal in the future. So all right, other travesties here. Kramer versus Kramer, which is a fine movie, beating out Apocalypse Now. Wow. You know, yeah. Kramer versus Kramer was a big deal at the time, because divorce was kind of start. It was the breaking up of the American family, or that the quote unquote American family, and divorce became okay. And it was part of the women's liberation thing in the 70s. I was a kid, so I didn't totally understand it, but I noticed that a lot of my friends' parents were getting divorced. So that's why Kramer versus Kramer won over an American classic. Excuse me. So we're going to jump ahead because I don't care about anything until Beautiful Mind beating Lord of the Rings, and then Chicago beating Lord of the Rings. Now Chicago, it's a better play than it was a movie. It's a good play for as far as plays are concerned. They're not my favorite thing, but my wife loves it. But nothing should have beat Lord of the Rings. It should have won 3 in a row. Okay, and I know Return of the King won, and that was great and all. But it's not the best Lord of the Rings movie. It's my favorite is Two Towers. But I think most people's favorite's The Fellowship. And if anything, Fellowship should have won. Okay, I'll give you that. And then, of course, The Dark Knight not even being nominated was it for me. I was done with them. It's like, it's not for us. It's supposed to be a celebration of film with the people who actually pay for all this stuff. But it's about a celebration of themselves. And I guess that's good, but there's like a million other parties they can do that at. And I think if the Oscars wanted to get more viewers, and we've talked about this in the podcast in the past, you need to throw the nerds a bone, and you would get us back. And it would, if Logan had won Best Picture, I guarantee you your ratings would have been higher. But that doesn't seem to matter. Or nominate it. So that's why you have people just bailing out. So many of these movies are not being seen now, and it's not the fault of the films themselves. It is there's so many movies out there right now. Yes, there's crappy blockbusters pushing a lot of them out into the smaller theaters, but I love going to this. I saw The Shape of Water in this little theater in San Francisco called the Empire. It's in West Portal, and it's a cool little theater. And I love going there. No, it's not the best screen in the world, and the seats aren't the best, and it doesn't have the Barca Lounger, but it's like in this cool little neighborhood. You could walk, you're not dealing with like 1,000 people, and you can go to some nice restaurant. West Portal's an awesome part of San Francisco. So there we go. I'm going to get to the comments here before we get to my first little news item here. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. And there's a lot of crosstalk, which is good. Best show, John hated. Best show, Dennis hated. Best show, Gary hated. Oh, there you go. Best show that we hated. Are we coming off like we hate everything? I actually like way more than both of those guys, believe it or not. I don't know what did I hate though as the best show that I hated. I don't hate that much stuff. I really don't. I'm mad at Star. I'm over Star Wars. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I really don't. We do have a news item, but I'm over talking about Star Wars, and I'm sure you're over us talking about Star Wars. I'm tired of seeing Lovecraft done poorly. I don't know if anybody can do. That's unadaptable. I don't think. It's going to take. I don't know. I don't know who could pull off Lovecraft. I don't think that person is born yet. I think people thought it was Del Toro, but no, because Del Toro's too nice. Lovecraft has got to have. It's great storytelling and it's really smart, but it's edgy even for its time. Tim Burton is too in love with Johnny Depp. I don't know about anymore, but yes, Tim Burton really gets. Viking Bitch said in a crosstalk that Tim Burton is too in love with Johnny Depp. My wife is a huge Tim Burton fan, so I got to keep my voice down if I criticize Tim Burton or even sound like I'm criticizing Tim Burton. She defriended Dennis on Facebook because he criticized Tim Burton. Oh, it's funny. I like Tim Burton. I do. I think. He does his own stuff best. The only criticism I have about Batman is some of his directing doesn't flow really well. It's just really blocky. It's like, here's a scene. Now here's a scene. Now here's a scene. The scenes don't flow. Now, what Edward Scissorhands is a great exception to that. That's a great movie. And he's done some really great stuff. So I love Tim Burton. And Pee-wee's Big Adventure, another one of my top 10 movies. Love that movie. I ditched high school for like a week straight to watch it every day. Yeah. Blaze 8, I agree with you. Yeah, I kind of wish The Hobbit was only one film, maybe two, but I do like the Hobbit trilogy. I do. I like the extended versions. It was drawn out way too long, but I like that world. I thought it was well done. I really liked seeing it in the theater with the higher frame rate they were talking about. That was really fun to see. I know a lot of people hated it, but I dug it. I thought it was cool as hell. It got way too CG. And yeah, it was a lot more cartoony than the Lord of the Rings, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. I know a lot of people didn't though, so I understand that. And scrolling down. Oh, I just missed one. Dang it. Brian Smart says you would have thought Logan would have been the Oscars wheelhouse because of the strong female character. Yeah, it was made for the Oscars, so that's why the superhero guys just got to stop making movies for them. I'm glad you did a good one with Logan, but obviously they're not going to respond to that, and I think they did it based on past work. I think they thought if they're rewarding Hugh Jackman or Wolverine or Fox, you'd be rewarding some of the bad X-Men movies. That's one of the excuses I heard. I don't know if I agree with that, but you could have stuck it to Disney, right? And then kept the nerds happy by giving it to Fox. That would have been a big, I think that would have been good. Yeah, I think it's a missed opportunity. I do. We're gonna go and try to find somebody asked me a question and I just lost it. Langley's here. Hello, Langley. Also, I have a bit of news. My college girlfriend was in Get Out. Her name is Betty Gabriel, and I found out she's gonna be in season 2 of Westworld as a guest, and on season 2 of Counterpart. Oh shit! Really? So that, for one, that's a scoop for us. There's a season 2 of Counterpart. Bravo! Yay! And yeah, we will keep an eye out for your friend. That is cool. Yeah, it's weird seeing people and stuff. One of John's friends was in The Gifted and Sucker Punch. He went to school with her. That is cool, Langley. Yeah, that is a bit of news. Yeah, I'm surprised Get Out didn't win. I heard that was really good. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. I heard it was good. I don't know what y'all thought of it. Oh, and then It. I finally saw It. Holy shit, was that good? That was, I cannot believe I didn't see that in the theaters. And it's one of my favorite Stephen King books. I kind of soured on him of late, but dude, that movie, I can't wait for the next one. That should have been nominated. That was really, really good. I thought it was going to be kind of like a Stranger Things ripoff, even if they casted one of the kids. I was going to be like, oh, they're just going to kind of rip off that. But nope. It was the shit. It was very good movie. We might like do a late. I could do like a middle-aged dude review of who doesn't see movies when they come out. Better than the original. It. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I like the original. I love Tim Curry. Love it, love it, love it. But that was a 90s TV show. It's very good. I own it on DVD. I do. I even like The Stand. Guys, remember The Stand, the TV miniseries? That was cool. I didn't like the guy playing Randall Flagg. That was the only thing. But everybody else was pretty good. Langley says, OMG, Get Out is amazing. See it before the twist is ruined. And I have not heard the twist, so please don't ruin it in the chat. And I will see it. I will. You know what? I don't know how I can see it. I don't know if it's out yet. I'll check, but I will definitely check it out. Oh, I know somebody asked me a question up there. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go up. There's got to be a way to search. I don't know when these damn things are going to transfer over into the video. They said on the 24th. It was supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen like a week ago. So I'm wondering if, like I said last podcast, YouTube has been a bit glitchy lately on the backside, which is like me messing around with the settings. And when I import this to an audio version for podcasts on my website, you can just download the MP4 and just convert it. It's pretty easy. And usually the MP4 downloads in like 10 seconds, and it took an hour the other night. So, and it wasn't my connection. Yeah. So there we go. I lost that question. I am sorry. I apologize. Somebody had asked me a question. I just freaking lost it. So I'm going to move on, and I will try to scroll up and find it again. We will get to the next subject here. And a little bit of news today that I guess somebody had asked the Russo brothers if they shot fake scenes. There's a bunch of rumors going around that they shot fake scenes. I'll squash this right now. Nobody shoots fake scenes. It may be Game of Thrones, but I doubt it, because these productions are so expensive and are in such a tight schedule. There is no way they would waste money to shoot fake scenes. There could be scenes that, like, hey, let's do this one. It might end up deleted, but let's try it anyway. But I think it's trying to deflect with some of the, I know it's trying to deflect from some of the spoilers that are out there. So yeah, don't believe these. Executives and directors are just like GMs in baseball, to do a sports analogy here. They always lie to you. Like, I'm not going to trade Mike Piazza, like, of course they're going to trade Mike Piazza. Wow. That was old. That was about the last time I was into baseball, was in the Piazza days when he was on the Dodgers. So yeah, that's stuff not to be believed. But I do want to ask again, has anybody, we asked about it last podcast, but I kind of want to make it a thing. What was that, Blaze 8? Fake scenes are very rare. Game of Thrones was confirmed to have at least one. I know they shot one on because they knew there was a photographer out there. The people who get the spoilers for Game of Thrones, they are insane. Okay, they're like climbing mountains, thousands of dollars, cameras, risking breaking their camera to get a shot on their Instagram. Which, I mean, can you make money on your Instagram? Like, I would put it on a YouTube channel. That's what I would do, and monetize it and make some money that way. But I don't. Yeah, unless you get a pledge or something. I don't know. I don't know how my wife does the Instagram. I'm too old to internet like that. Yeah. So fake scenes, I think it's just trying to deflect people from the spoilers out there, and that's why it's going to be just harder. You're going to have to just make a movie inside all the time now. You're going to have to control your environment completely with so many channels dedicated to scoops. We are definitely not a scoop channel. I am not going to, if I hear about it, I'll blab it for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't trust me. But if I'm not going to go out and actively look for one who's got that kind of time. I don't know that much about Infinity War. I haven't gone out and looked. So I know there might be time travel in Avengers 4, but that sounds wacky to me. But, and we talked about it last Friday, and what if it sucks? This is always a possibility. I don't think it's going to, but I mean, it's a movie. It could. There's a lot of characters in this, and I think expectations are crazy high, as they should be. I'm hoping it's the most comic book movie of them all. Like, just do it like Contest of Champions or all your other big Marvel crossovers where, like, you can't give too much screen time to everybody. You got to focus on a certain your core characters, and just have everybody come in and do like extended cameos. And I'd be happy with that. I don't need everybody having a part in the plot. I'm okay with some guys just coming into battle. I don't need to hear them like talk and like see some side story with them. Yeah, I don't know where the movie apparently is going to be almost 2.5 hours long. That's good. I think that's very, very good. Yeah, if it sucks, my face will melts off. Viking bitch. I don't think the world is ready for it to suck. I think that would be the biggest downer ever. That would. I don't think it will, though. I mean, they must be feeling really good about it. They're moving it up. It's probably phenomenal. They don't just do that with movies that are bad. They don't move the schedule up. It's usually they move them back and they put embargoes on and everything. They wanted to get away from Deadpool, which was smart. and seeing it sooner is always good. I like seeing stuff sooner. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah. So Infinity War, it's gonna be good, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. Also, I'm so there's the big rumors out there that like 2 or 3 characters are going to die. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of any heroes dying. I know it's part of the story. Um, yeah, I don't want to spoil anybody if you haven't read the comics who dies, but there is a main character who dies. Of course, it's comics and he comes back. I am more of a fan. I don't know if you can do it in the cinematic universe, and I'm really curious to see how the commenters and chatters think about this. I am a fan of recasting. Let the character lie a little bit, a few years, and then recast. Do a Bond thing. Spider-Man was supposed to originally be 9 movies, and every 3 movies they were supposed to recast it like Bond films. And I'm a big fan of that because no actor is bigger than the character they're playing. Okay, as great as Robert Downey Jr. has been as Iron Man, he is not. I think somebody else could play the role for sure. I mean, not right away, but it doesn't kill the property as long as you keep some of the people the same and you just replace them as time goes on. And yeah, I think another thing, we get to Infinity War, and I'm a big stickler for costumes. Okay. And by the time we're at the Infinity War, Cap doesn't look like Cap anymore. Thor doesn't look like Thor anymore. Iron Man looks like Iron Man. That's good. I love the new armor. That looks pretty badass. But yeah, but 2 of the main characters, I know he's Nomad. Okay. But I kind of want, and hopefully in Avengers 4, he'll be Captain America again. If it's just for the first one, I'm okay with that. Thor having short hair, that's cool. I've always wanted to, for him to, I loved that he wore his freaking helmet in Ragnarok. I want him to wear his helmet. He doesn't need to have long hair, but he's got to have the little circles on his chest, a cape. He's got to have a cape and a helmet, and I'm fine. And if he's swinging something besides Mjolnir, that's okay too. That's okay too. Let's go to the chat here a little bit. Everyone dies and then no one dies. You're right, Langley. That is comic books. The only people who stay dead are Uncle Ben and Bruce and the Waynes. Everybody else is fair game. Oh, well, no, not yeah. They ruined Gwen Stacy. Man, brought her back as a brought her back as a clone. That was terrible. Hal, I'm 899. If some of them died, or if some of them dead, the Young Avengers will become Ironheart X-23, Miss Marvel Pakistani version, and then female Thor. I wouldn't put it past them. There are A-Force rumors out there. Yes, the A-Force. And that comic got canceled, right? It got canceled. I don't want the all female, and I don't want an all male super team. I want everybody. I want everybody. I want to see a She-Hulk. I want to see Captain. I was reading the Captain Marvel article that Dennis talked about last Friday, and they're making it an action comedy. Okay, I think that's if long as it's action comedy in the sense of like 48 hours, I think that'll be cool. Which 48 hours was like an adventure with jokes, damn good ones. And if they do something to that effect, don't make it. I wouldn't make it as funny as like Thor Ragnarok, because it's her first outing. But if they give her, that's been my biggest complaint with her as a comic book character. She's got kind of a blah personality. So give her a personality. They did that with Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark. I mean, Tony Stark had a defined personality, but he wasn't as quippy and jokey. And he was a little more stoic in the comics. So he helped develop that. So that's good. So if Brie Larson can pull that off, then good. I'm excited to see the Kree and the Skrulls. If they bring the Skrulls in, oh yes, hell yes, love the Skrulls. But we're not going to get the Super Skrull, which kind of sucks. But yes, Blaze asks, anyone ever play Marvel Ultimate Alliance? Yes, that is my favorite superhero video game of all time. I loved playing that thing played it to death. It's one of the few games I have played. And it was a lot of fun. Ultimate Alliance 2 kind of blew, but love Ultimate Alliance 1. I still own it. And occasionally my son and I will break it out and play it. It's lots of fun. I can't answer that question. What do I want in phase 4? I would like to see more Hulk. I'd like to see She-Hulk, a proper She-Hulk. Not this She-Hulk. Okay, here, I'm gonna show you. This is a little much. I know some people are like, yay, this is great, but it's not visually great. I'm just saying tone it down just a little bit, okay? Just a tad. Okay. That's all I'll say about that. I this cover though I do kind of love though. So I do. They got so this is Marvel's fresh start. I did a video about it. Please check it out. It's basically blaming Marvel for a lot of the shops closing, which I usually don't do, because when a shop closes, it's generally like or sells, it's on the owner. Definitely my situation was not Marvel's fault or anybody's fault. It was me, and I sold it. But Marvel's definitely responsible. And I talked about it in that video. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I did it late at night, so I was kind of quiet. And yeah, it's one of the few videos. I was going to do it live, but it was too late, so I had to kind of edit it and tone it down. We usually like to do everything live here. So how's everybody doing out there in the chat? How you good? Yes. Jennifer Walters is a lawyer. She is a lawyer. And it's a great part of her character. And it's a character I've been reading forever. John Byrne did such a good job on that book. Yeah, it's a good thing John Byrne. If John Byrne was around today, he would not have a career. He couldn't handle forums. He was pretty sassy in the forums. Said some you got to know John Byrne. Like, his humor is like really dark and biting, but it's not like that's not what he's like. He's actually a really nice dude. He's just got this really sick, demented sense of humor that he doesn't know when to filter out. Said a few things on some forums way back when, and yeah, that's what keeps him from getting work these days, unfortunately. And the quality of his work, I thought it had gone down, but he did a commission for me. I can't show it here. I'll show it on a future podcast because I'd have to dig it out. He did a commission for me with it was Black Cat and Spider-Man, Batman and Catwoman on a double date on a building top. And I just said, just do, a building top. And I traded him a Sideshow Thing 1-in-1 scale head bust. The one where he's got the cigar. It's really rare. So I traded him. I sent that to him. And I was expecting to get the picture like months later. Got the picture back in 2 weeks. And it was insane. He did a full cityscape all by hand, and like no reference or anything, hand inked it. It was beautiful. It was freaking beautiful. I'll promise to show it the next podcast. And he like whipped it out in 2 weeks while he was working for DC at the time. So and I've talked to him a couple times on the phone. A friend of mine moderated his old website. I don't know if it's still there or not. Incidentally, that friend is Mike O'Brien, who is the editor in Transmetropolitan, by the way. That's who he's based on. And he hooked it up and talked to John Byrne a couple times. He was totally nice. So I think, the internet, the freaking internet. Okay. So yeah, there's also a lot of talk, since we're talking about superheroes, about and we talked about it a little bit Friday, but I didn't know how serious this was, but it's serious. So the Time Warner merger has been going on for years now. I remember hearing about that 4 years ago, and it's stumbling. It's in danger. So this whole WBDC, like New Line HBO assets being sold off, is a real thing. And that is real bad, I think. And that sucks. That shows you how hard a cinematic universe is, and being cohesive. Warner Brothers and DC do a lot of things right. Movies right now are not one of them, but their animated stuff is pretty solid. Their comics are great right now. HBO, for I'm talking about body work here, has been very, very good. And Warner Brothers in the past has been a very strong and good company. Okay, I don't know what's happened to them lately. I think they just got excuse me, got caught up trying to be Marvel and lost their own identity. And they've never been great, like honoring their own characters. They've been good with Batman, but they've just never known what to do with Superman. They got the right guy playing it for sure. I do not get rid of him. But oh man, if it gets sold off and it turns into a situation where a bunch of different movies that are a bunch of different companies, at least we'll get some good DC movies. But I don't know what that will do with the comics. That's my biggest fear. Maybe they become autonomous and somebody buys them and they can stand on their own. That would, and well, if it was somebody who loves comics, that'd be awesome. Like a Todd McFarlane, he's probably got enough money to buy DC, just the comic part, not anything else. And I think it's just the right to make the comics. It wouldn't be rights to Batman merchandising or anything like that. They can sell that all off to different people. So that could all fall apart. And what's bringing all of this on is Hollywood, and not just Hollywood, the BBC are completely freaking out. And I saw this article. I'll see if I could share it. Where we go. Yeah, there it is. I need to share it though. There we go. I just perused it. And so BBC boss Tony Hall to take a swipe against digital giants Netflix and Amazon. For one, Mr. Hall, Doctor Who, the reason Doctor Who blew up in the US a few years back, partially 50th anniversary, mostly because it was on Netflix. All of Doctor Who was on Netflix, and everybody in America got to catch up on everything modern Doctor Who. And that's the reason it blew up. The 50th anniversary definitely had something to work towards, but people were jumping on Doctor Who way before then. I had customers in my store talking about Doctor Who when it first came out, and that's when you couldn't see it. You could barely see it here. And so when it hit Netflix, I think it was 2009 or 10 when it hit Netflix, it blew up. That's when it blew up. So no, you can't take on Netflix. And the BBC has been, for a government run network, it does pretty good. I'll give you that. They come out with some really good stuff. Been a fan. I've been a fan. I love the way their style of programming. They invented like the shorter series. They've done a lot of things great, but lately they haven't been spectacular. And when you have your boss coming out and talk, I mean, this is not something, if you're saying I'm going to take a swipe at you, that means you're scared. So yes, Hollywood, BBC, entertainment in general is going through a major, major transition now. And it's going to be fun for us to watch. And I think while the transition is happening, we're going to get a lot of good stuff because it's going to force people to be really, really good. That's why we're getting so much good TV, because they're scrambling and circling the wagons, and streaming services and stuff. Most of these streaming services are not going to succeed. Everybody's going to try their own, but a lot are going to fall apart within the first couple of years. I know that CBS All Access, like everybody jumped off after Star Trek. I jumped right off when I was done, and they're going to have to deal with that. Like Netflix has found a way. Well, Netflix also gets loaned a lot of money, but they found a way to work around the people leaving. Is their content. They're coming out with like 700 things in the next year. 700 original things. That's crazy. But Amazon, I know I've talked about this before. They're the monster because they don't need to borrow money. They're gonna crush everybody, and that's what's got everybody worried. And the A-list actors are leaving. So yeah, this guy, I'm gonna take a swipe at Netflix. Yeah, you go do that. That's so cute. Yeah. So a site I used to love going to. was you guys remember Spider-Man hype? I don't know if you remember Spider-Man hype, but late 90s, there was only like 5 or 6 good superhero sites to go to. So I went to Spider-Man hype all the time. And so I decided to check it out for the first time in a long time. And it's called Superhero Hype now, which I knew. And let's share that. There's a couple of things that were interesting on that. Is that it? There it is. I think that's it. There we go. Okay. So the first one is just real quick. The Terminator starts production in the summer. Does anybody care? Unless I think are they gonna like CG Arnold? Because Arnold looks like my father-in-law now. Very healthy for his age. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I don't mean to be ageist right there, but I don't want to see an old Terminator running around. I don't know how that's going to work. I am a little excited for the $6 billion man with Marky Mark. I think that'll be pretty good. But this is the one that caught my eye because this is one of my favorite all-time movies. And this is like the one thing they haven't really remade yet. It's been long. I mean, it's been rumored forever, this movie. I mean, since the late 80s, I've heard rumors of this movie being remade, and they've never done it. Yes, there is no sanctuary, but it's Logan's Run. And I'm so happy that Bryan Singer, because he was the name behind this, is not going to be doing it, but his boy is, Simon Kinberg. So, yeah, Simon Kinberg has set up he's going to be remaking Logan's Run right after Dark Phoenix, apparently. It appears the version of Logan's Run will feature a woman in the lead role, which is fine. That's cool, you know. But is her name going to be Logan? That's my big question. I mean, I guess, you know, Michael Burnham. So yeah, there's that. I really want this to be good. I love this movie, but okay, I'll just come out and say it. Logan's a dude. Okay. Logan's a freaking dude. If you want to like add another character, if you want to make, I'm forgetting her name now. If you want to make her not the damsel in distress and make her equal to Logan, fine, cool, go for it. That would be that. I think that would be much better. But yeah, Logan's a dude. So there you go. Just leave that one there. We got Jessica Jones coming back very soon. We will be covering that. It looks good. It looks good. I don't I've like I spoke last Friday. I had 2 friends who I trust who saw it. One hated it and one loved it. So I don't know what to take from that. I'll have to see it for myself. But we will be covering it, and we're going to do it just like we did Alter Carbon. So we'll do non-spoiler on the Friday night podcast, and then Saturday and Sunday we're going to do 2 parts, and we'll cover the binge. And I'll be watching a lot of television that weekend. So let's get to the chat. I've been talking to myself too much. Okay, I'm gonna go up. Yeah. Oh joy, another Terminator movie, says Jody. I don't need any more Terminator, says Viking bitch. How long until they remake Airplane, Apple Crow? I think you just gave him an idea. I think it's happening right now. Stop with the remakes and just make something new. And Blaze 8 puts a little arrow upwards because he agrees. Agreed. Start adapting some novels. There's some great fantasy. There's great novels out there to adapt. Do that if you need scripts. I mean, you know, you can keep mining comics. There's a ton of graphic novels that just little known graphic novels that you can get great ideas. They stopped doing that because actually they weren't making any money. But I don't know. You get a Road to Perdition, History of Violence, graphic novels. You know. When the Young Justice and Titans comes out, are you going to do streams for them? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I will. I'm, as you know, I'm not huge on the cartoons, but when they're good, they're good. And Young Justice is a damn good show. And Titans, Teen Titans is my favorite thing from DC. So I will definitely be covering it. I became a huge fan during the George Perez, Marv Wolfman era when they were outselling the X-Men for that short period of time. Yeah, it was good. So they should do what they've done for Bats with the Arkham series of games. That was a question part. Yes, I think they should. The Arkham series of games, that's kind of what they should adapt the next just standalone Batman film to be. I think that would be great. Just do that. I think those things are kind of the best Batman thing to come out. Here we go. Here's a question. Gary, they also screwed over Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor when Moffat started dropping the ball towards the end of Matt Smith's run. They probably should have replaced him as showrunner. Absolutely. Absolutely. It was clear that he had run out of gas, and he wasn't show running wasn't for Stephen Moffat. Stephen Moffat's a very talented writer, but he needs somebody to guide him. There was a time where I thought Moffat was way better than Russell T Davies, and this was like in the middle of season 5. And then I saw, that I still love season 6 of Doctor Who, and then season 7 came out. And you could tell he was just starting to repeat himself. And man, he alls the Peter Capaldi. It was a great injustice what was done to him, because he was a great Doctor. I grew to love that guy, but the stories he was in sucked. So it's kind of like the 7th Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, who was a good Doctor with really bad. Some of his stuff was good, but just bad material. A great injustice, and somebody should have taken over. And I think that should have been Jamie Matheson. Jamie Matheson wrote the best 2 Capaldi episodes, I thought, which were The Mummy on the Orient Express, and was it Flatline with the 2-dimensional graffiti people coming out of the walls and stuff. Those were 2 great episodes, and those were Jamie Matheson episodes. I think he should have been the one to take over the show. He has a sense of fun. Those were the most fun 12th Doctor episodes to me. So and it frankly got super agenda driven, and it started taking me out of the story. Again, there's always been politics with the Doctor, and we know how he leans, and I totally down with that. But it just got a little preachy the last couple of seasons for me, and that's what took me out of the show completely. And I don't want to watch it going out. I love what I've seen. I'll probably break down and watch the new one, see how it is. And if it's good, that'd be great. Chinball, the guy who's going to take over, Chinball. Chinball. That's bad. He writes really dark stuff. Like Broadchurch that is grim. So, yeah, maybe he's just saving it all for Doctor Who. We'll see. Oh my God. Agreed. Lately, having a showrunner, especially a showrunner, hang on too long, ruins shows. You can change showrunners and succeed. In the early parts of Walking Dead, some of the best parts, they were going through showrunners, left and right, and they still maintain a decent quality for most until recently. We'll see if that happens with American Gods. Yeah, but if you and Doctor Who, really, it's a horrible show and a great show to run. You get so much crap, and that's why people love Russell T Davies now, but he got crap. He got a lot of crap, and that's why he kind of bailed out. He's like, I'm out. And his run was the best, in my opinion, as a showrunner. And the 10th Doctor is equal to the 4th Doctor, not better, but equal, in my opinion. So Chibnall. Chibnall. It's a Chinball. Oh man, hope he's not watching. Hey, the first 3 episodes were amazing in Walking Dead. I still got to catch up. See, it's not something I can watch with the wife. The wife hates zombies. She can't see a zombie. She can't hear a zombie. And I've got like this crazy 7.1 surround system where you can hear the zombies coming behind you and stuff, which I love. But yeah, I'm not allowed to watch it when she's in the house. And forbidden. She doesn't throw down many rules, but that's one of them. Viking Rich says, I would like to see Clive Barker's Imagica made into a TV series. It would be it would have to be on HBO or Amazon. Agreed. That would be cool. What was that movie? What is that? I can't believe I'm blanking on the name of the Clive Barker movie. That was during his Hellraiser run, but it was about all the monsters. Oh my God. I love that movie too. And I'm blanking on the name of it. I would love to see a series on that. I can't remember the name of it right now because I'm old, but it's a fantastic movie. It's a great 80s, bad makeup. And yeah, it's it was the tagline is Oz is over the rainbow and monsters are real, God, what was the name of that movie? Damn it. Now I'm gonna have to look it up live on the air. Shiza. Talk amongst yourselves. Nightbreed. That's it. Love me some Nightbreed. That would be a very good TV show, I think. Sarah Jane Adventure. Yes, I've seen the Sarah Jane Adventures, and they are quite good. I actually like them a lot. I like of course, the doctor appearances, but for a kid show, it was really, really well done. And Christ, it would have had it would still be going. It was a huge hit until she died. Poor Sarah Jane. No, I loved Sarah Jane Adventures. It was very good. Gary, when you compare RTD to Moffat, you could see that RTD has clear arcs and there were payoffs for stuff later. Moffat tries to be clever, but there's never any satisfying payoff. Agreed. Oh my God. How many dangling plot points were left open over Moffat's run? I mean, we still really didn't get an answer when like Rory, there was always like, what the hell is going on with Rory? They that one where the God complex where nobody could leave, but the artificial hotel showed him an exit. Why did it show him an exit? Just because he wanted to leave? Remember the whole Rory was the master thing? I think that would have been cool if they would have followed through with that. That would have been brilliant. But I think Karen Gillan leaving early screwed up a lot of plans, because if you look back at some of their toys, they never did with the Doctor Who toy line, which I'm very familiar with. They never did anything off script. Okay, everything was based on something that happened in the show. So they came out, and they'd always come out with toys early, and it would kind of spoil the show sometime. And they came out with a couple toys, one of this giant Dalek invasion, and it breaks it down. And then so like the finale was supposed to be this Dalek invasion of London, and there's a whole play set for it. But the really cool one was this gun that was made out of a weeping angel, a Dalek, and a Cyberman. So what was supposed to happen was, after the Doctor had quote unquote died, the universe went into total war, and everybody just started attacking everybody, and Daleks started attacking Cybermen, and Cybermen started attacking Weeping Angels, and they all like obliterated each other. So the that church organization made called a temporal gun. So the gun was basically some Cybermen tech, and it was a Dalek stock, and inside the stock there was a Weeping Angel's finger. So it was basically a gun to blink you out of existence. And the whole plot of that, like, I cannot wait to see that, and it never came out. And the reason being was Matt Smith left, so they had to change all the plots. So yeah, but Moffat was trying too hard to play the game of gotcha. He was, and the audience also think he had what is that? I don't think he had a show Bible, so he ended up contradicting his own continuity at points. He did. His rationale for that is it's Doctor Who. And but he changed a lot of continuity, and he started playing with the age. Like the Doctor was you'd always get a gist that between Doctors there might have been 100 years or a couple of 100 years, but he really started playing with that too much. Like he aged the Doctor 3,000, no, 1,200 years, because the Doctor Capaldi was 2,000 by the time it ended. So when Eccleston took over, the Doctor was about 900 years old. So that was roughly a couple hundred years after the or 100 years after the Eighth Doctor, maybe, or maybe he was 100 years as the Eighth Doctor. But yeah, he aged him 1,200 years, which was too much. Yes, RoboCop. Yes, Blaze 8. There's going to be a RoboCop direct sequel, and I believe it's going to have Peter Weller, and I'm kind of okay with that. I think I'll yeah, thousands. Yeah. Like it was too much. It was too much. And it seems like there's times he would take it seriously and times he wouldn't. And towards the end, I think what he's going through is a lot what the Game of Thrones creators are going through right now. They want to go do something else. But I think this, to talk about that real quick, I think part of the reason Game of Thrones got rushed was this, as a matter of fact, I know it is this sale, of New Line. And, it's going to go down soon. They are part of that deal. That property is part of that deal. So all of these side projects that might happen, I think they're all in danger right now. And I think there were some budget constraints, so they did the shorter amount of episodes. They can call it shooting or whatever, but they had a year to shoot stuff. And a lot of the stuff they cut out from Game of Thrones isn't the effects stuff. It's the acting stuff, the story stuff. That's what they cut out. So that stuff's not the expensive stuff. So I think the transition with Time Warner had something to do with them rushing at. And I think that, being burnt out and George not finishing the book, but I think Moffat got burnt out and they had to ask him to come on another year. He was ready to leave and they asked him to come on another year. But taking a year break hurt Doctor Who. Tell you what, it's hurting when you take too long of a break. I'm interested to see what happens to Westworld. I don't think it'll hurt Westworld, but Ash vs. Evil Dead, it definitely hurt. Taking too long of a break hurts your show, and taking weird breaks in the middle of a season when it's a short season hurts your show too. It kills your viewership. Ghost World says the last 4 episodes of Rebels were amazing. I am going to check them out. Dennis wanted to podcast about it tonight, but I'm not going to have enough time to catch up on it. So we might do it tomorrow. But we're definitely going to talk about it. We felt like we needed to be positive about Star Wars. So we definitely want to cover it. I just not going to have time today. I've got errands to run after this. Got to run to the salon, do some stuff, get a haircut. Jody says, I hated the Clara arc. I did too. And it wasn't her fault. If we would have gotten the Clara from Asylum of the Daleks, that was a fun Clara, or the one from the Snowman. But instead, and dude, there's a Doctor Who magazine that describes her character, and it's the Clara that's in Asylum of the Daleks. It's not the Clara. They never said anything about being a teacher or anything. She was supposed to be a computer hacker. So they changed a lot of stuff. I think Star Wars Rebels was last night. Was it last night or is it tonight? I can't remember. It's tonight, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if Dennis wants to stay up late, I think it's a possibility. But I know we're on too late for you guys. But yeah, I do want to do it though. I wanted to be. I felt like last Friday is like my last bitching about Star Wars. I'm done. It's such a dead horse. So. And I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing about it too. And I don't want to be bitching about it. I don't want to be known for hating everything. Oh God, no. My God. At the comic shop, I was guilty of liking way too much. I liked, if it was a comic book, I pretty much liked it. So I don't know if I could say that about the last couple of years worth of stuff, but, I love it all. I signed up a subscription at a comic store in San Rafael, It's not here in San Francisco. I didn't want to. I don't know. I didn't want to do one here in San Francisco, and it's close to my work. So I started a poll. I thought the guy would be happier than he was, but that's cool. You know, maybe he's just used to it. But this is here. I'll show you my receipt. This is part of the whole hashtag move the needle that our friend Comics Division is doing. So here's my receipt. Hope my wife doesn't see this now. This is my receipt. That's probably what I'm going to spend, you know, every week. I'm a comic fan. So got a huge stack, have to catch up a lot. I have not read in 3 years. And instead of, I'm going to dive in the middle and I'll work my way out from there. And of course they brought Ghost Rider back. So I had to get Spirits of Vengeance and Blade. And this is like what I want to see a movie of right here. Son of Satan, Satana, Blade, Ghost Rider. Take my money. Take my effing money. And of course Viking bitch for Gary's Beards products. Thank you for the $2 super chat. That is wonderful. Yes, I will get some today. Now you could totally get these on Amazon for like $5, but I wanted to, I paid full price at the comic store because I want to support my local comic store. Yes, the big coloring books that are the Marvel Essentials, but this is Marvel Horror Volume 1, and it's just got everything. This is what I loved as a kid, and it's got everything. It's got Dracula. It's got the Marvel 2-in-1s that's with Son of Satan and Satana in it. Ghost Rider. It's got everything. And yes, I do love the black and white. Oh my God, it looks so wonderful. It really does. This is just wonderful. This makes me happy. It really does. So yeah, I got that. Heard Thanos is pretty good. Picked up. Oh God, comic abuse. Thanos. That's based on my friend Comics Division. Even though this guy's been a jackass on Twitter, I do want to check out his Moon Knight. I probably shouldn't have supported him though. Daredevil, who is secretly my favorite superhero now because I kind of quit Spider-Man, which is sad because he was my favorite superhero all my life, but they have destroyed him. So I got a bunch of Daredevil books. Yes, bought the Doomsday Clock. Had to buy it. Gary Frank's art is freaking beautiful. I'm a huge fan of Ethan Van Sciver. So of course I'm going to support Green Lantern Corps and of course the wonderful Batman White Knight by Sean Gordon Murphy. This is gorgeous stuff. So yeah, I can't wait to read all those. And I'm gonna do reviews on probably on our Friday night podcast or something like that. I'm gonna get back into to reading Spider-Man. It wasn't even one more day. It was Superior Spider-Man. Pissed me off so much. And it sold a ton of comics and people liked it. I know, but I was done after that. I mean, it's like one more day is one thing, but doing this and I was done with Spider-Man and I capped my run. So I had a complete run and I'm like, 1 to 600 or, Amazing Spider-Man, 1 to 600. And I have all the Spectacular Spider-Man stuff. So and I haven't read them all. I've read most of them, but I still need to, that'll take me to the end of time to read those. So that's cool. If they turn the character around, I'll give it a shot when it hits 800. The cover for 800 looks sick as hell. Let's see if we can show that off. Giving Marvel a little commercial here, a little free commercial. Yeah. I mean, the Alex Ross one looks cool too, but this one looks sick. I love it. There's going to be some fun stuff. I don't know about this fresh start though. It looks like they just moved a lot of people around to different titles. That's not really a fresh start. That's not being honest. It looks like their fresh start is going to be, we're going to offer a bunch of incentive covers to comic stores, which just costs them more money. Again, refer to my other video. I won't get into it here. We also talked about it on my friends. I was on another channel. I was on Comics Division, and me and Comics Division and Feisty Fan, who is a manager of a undisclosed shop here in America, talked about comic retailing for a couple hours. Kind of like the ins and outs, the secrets. And honestly, there are not a lot of secrets. It's not rocket science running a comic store. It's it's just being frugal with your money and having to deal with creative decisions by sometimes insane people that can keep you up at night, you know. And it's also this never ending thing. I guess the hardest thing about comics is they don't take time off. They come every Tuesday. So for 10 years, I did not, I lived a life with basically a 6-day week, because Tuesday and Wednesday were called Twensday in my house. We would get the shipment. I'd put away the books. I'd be up till 3 or 4 in the morning, sleep for a couple hours, a lot of times at the shop, and wake up and sell comic books, and then pass out at the end of Wednesday. And I know there's a lot of retailers who would, I know it's so hard selling comic books. It was actually a lot of fun. But I was pretty punchy on Wednesdays. I was pretty punchy. A lot of coffee, 2 hours of sleep. A lot of amazingly stupid shit came flying out of my pie hole. Yeah, I'm glad a lot of it wasn't recorded. I mean, you know, dumber than the usual. Okay, let me just stop y'all right there. Sounds like you'd have to be a people person to run a comic shop. Yeah, Viking bitch. Yes. Do not be socially awkward. Well, okay, if you're socially awkward, you can't help it. That's cool. Running a comic shop, I ran into a lot of socially awkward people who were great people, but hire somebody who's not. So if you're socially awkward, just find somebody who, can talk all freaking day about comic books, and you're set. Count on me. Social interaction with customers. Nope. LOL. Reason why I like working from home. Ghost World. See, a man who knows his limits and his strengths. That's it. I would be terrible working from home. I need I need to have a set plan every day, a routine. That's the word I'm looking for. I need to have a routine. I that's why I did this. I get weirded out on days off. If I don't have projects are going on, I don't know what to do. If I have just a day where I feel like I'm missing something. Like if I have a day where I don't have anything to do, I'm being a bad parent, because I'm probably forgetting something about my kid. And I own a home, so there's got to be, it's in the house is ancient, so there's got to be something to work on. So yeah, there is no free days. If I do, I start, feeling a little anxiety. So I have make sure I have a routine. I got to have that routine. Boundaries are always good too, Langley. Oh my God, boundaries. The lost art of boundaries. Kiriko, I'm sure your Prime watches this podcast. My Prime. I know. You know what? That's the person who's disliking all these videos. It's my Prime. Well, if my Prime is, if there's another one like me, sorry, world. I just apologize. My wife might be happy though. She likes to have options. So he is. I see. I get one. We get one or two. Like at least this one wasn't before we went live. The downvote. Yeah, give us a thumbs up if you want to give us a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. Helps our podcast. My theory is it's John. I agree with Dennis. It's John. Oh shit. Oh no, you're my Prime, Apple Crow. Well, you're amazingly handsome, but other than that, you cannot take my place. I like my kids. LOL options. Yes. Everybody likes to have options. Yeah. Me and my wife have been married a long time. I've known her since I was 15. So since 85. So it's a long time. Long time. All right. Where is John? John had a contract. John is a co-host if you're watching this for the first time, and he does some of the recaps with us and occasionally joined us on Friday night. He will be joining us more. He had a contract with Rob from Rob Has a Podcast. It's a pretty big podcast. And he recaps Big Brother, all the reality TV. And he was a contestant on Survivor in season 3, I believe. It's a very good podcast. He's actually plugged us. He's been very nice to us. So I have nothing bad to say about that dude. He's really good at what he does. He loves what he covers, and that's what you got to do on your channel. And he seems like a really nice guy. John says he's a really nice guy. And honestly, the TV recap came from him. It came from John through him. Like, yeah, we should recap TV shows all the time. And I'm, like, I'll try it. What the hell? And it ended up being the first thing that worked. So we just kind of rolled with it because it was working. And working, I mean, it was the first video that had, like most of our videos in the very beginning, we were happy to get 100 views. Still happy to get 100 views. But it was Westworld, episode 7. We actually did it live. I didn't know how to do live stream. I didn't know that there was people in the chat. So I was ignoring everybody. And we got 1,000 views, and like, that blew me away. So I took that and like we doubled down and we started doing it more and more. And then earlier last year we scheduled, and the rest is history. We got a couple more subscribers. And yeah. But John will be back next week. His contract is over, and he did a good job over there. So, and we're happy to have him back. We like to have more voices. We're also going to have a couple of ladies coming in to do some of the stuff that John and I and Dennis don't cover, like maybe the magicians or shadow hunters, Vikings. And I know, before you say it, Viking bitch, I just need to catch up on it. I'm sure it's a great show. And it's going to be my wife and a young lady named Natalie. She's getting her microphone. She's getting all set up. She is a youngster. Okay. So we all need to be on our best behavior. So Melissa and Natalie will be doing some recaps of some shows that kind of broaden our horizons, probably in the next month or so. And we'll see how often Mel can do it. She's pretty busy. I'm looking at the chat right now. Somebody says you still don't look at the chat. I'm trying. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. I need to get set up properly to here's a good way to go. There, I can see the chat in front of me now. The chat was a problem on a little inside baseball here. I've got like a pretty new Mac. All right. I do Mac and PC. But for some damn reason, if I'm broadcasting, I can't pull up another window to put the chat, or it just kills my stream. So I pumped up my old PC here and juiced it up a little bit, gave it some PC steroids. And that's what I'm broadcasting on now, and it looks way better. And this PC is like 4 years old, but it's doing great. And then I just used the very expensive Mac to basically be an iPad, and I can read the chat now. So, but I still need to get used to it because my eyes are horrible, and I'm too cheap to buy progressives. And yeah, so I'd have to switch glasses, which I don't want to do. I keep getting Black Panther cartoon recommendations on my YouTube. The cartoon is really good. I have not seen it. I heard it was really good. I'm going to definitely check it out. I heard it was good too. And I want to see that. Speaking of cartoons, I want Spawn to be on Blu-ray. I really need Spawn to be on Blu-ray. I love the Spawn cartoons so much. Blaze 8 says, would you ever cover video games? I would not. John and Dennis will at some point. Nothing against them. I can't sit down and play them unless like if I'm with my son, but no, day job and doing this, and I draw. So I don't want to take away from the drawing time, which I have very little for these days. Zafri Chan says, my parents have been married for 30 years. You sound autistic with your routine. Yeah, a little bit. A little OCD. Yeah, I collect comics. I'm a completist. I have to have, like, I can't, if I'm going to collect a title, I need to have every variant. So yeah, OCD. I don't know about if that's on the spectrum. Sure, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. Uh, let's go. Playing Kingdom Come Deliverance right now. Just spent 10 days in jail for punching a guard. Well, you know what? That beats spending 10 real days in jail for punching a real guard. But you would get more than 10. You get 30 days in the hole. Speaking of the Spawn series, Ghost World says the HBO one, yes, still looks amazing. But yeah, remastered 4K Spawn would come out. That would look so sick, right? If it's got to be happening, right? I mean, there's been a resurgence for 90s stuff. It was bound to happen, and I am personally a huge fan of 90s comic books. Love them so much. And Viking Bitch says, don't worry, weird is good. Yes, weird is wonderful. None of us are normies in here. Okay. Spawn, yes, the Spawn cartoon had the perfect voice, David Keith. I hope they would Abelcrow says, told you I'm your prime. I would love to do it again. Now, David Keith was he's got a great voice too. He's got such a good voice. He would be on like my voice actor Mount Rushmore, David Keith, for sure. Great actor too. And I loved the Spawn comic book. It got off the chain, but and I've talked about it before here. The first 20 issues were amazing. So amazing. And man, I remember how much hate there was for Todd McFarlane. I think it was just more like jealousy of his success. But I loved everything he did. He's such a great artist and a great businessman. And kind of a nice dude. I've met him a couple times. He seemed pretty nice. Nerdrotic channel. Any word from McFarlane and what's he working on? He has greenlit anything? Yes. He's working on a Spawn movie, a low budget, $10 million Spawn movie that he's going to direct. And apparently it's not going to have a lot of Spawn in it. It's going to be more horror. What the hell? Let's try it. I'd rather see a Spawn movie with Spawn, but if he succeeds in doing this, then he can turn that into a bigger Spawn movie. And I admire the fact that he wants to control his own property. And you know what? I'll do what I can with $10 million rather than sell it out to somebody else. It must be nice to have enough money to do that. But I really admire the fact that, he helped create Image Comics as well. And he's a very independent minded dude. And I like people like that a lot. So, people hated him because he up and left and made his own success, says Blaze 8. Agreed. And yeah, some people hate and some people emulate, and I try to do the emulating thing. I respected his move, and after owning my own small business and seeing living every day, like how hard but rewarding as hell, like not, oh my god, creating something on your own and it's succeeding is the best feeling in the world. Next to sex, seriously, it's real. I recommend it for everybody. If there's something you're passionate about and you think you can go off and do it alone, it's really scary. But when you get a little older, you realize sometimes a job is just a job and you can always get another job. If you're skilled, if you got a skilled labor you're good at or something, and and not everybody can do that. I understand that. And it does take a lot of money to open a business, especially in a big old city like San Francisco. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't do it here, but go out in the burbs somewhere where things are cheaper, but try it if you can. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I did not think I can do it. Did not. Ghost World says, well, I think a lot of control over his content came from his being burned by the first movie. Yeah, absolutely. And being burned by Marvel. I think he sees he's still pissed about Venom, even though he only co-created Venom. Um, uh, but Dante S says, "LOL, I saw Blank Man and Meteor Man. I remember both those movies. I didn't hate either of them, actually. Yeah, Blank Man does kind of rock Ghost World. I agree. I need to watch them again." Apple Crow says, "I remember sex. It was pretty fun." Okay, you are my prime. No, just kidding. Jody says, "Blank Man was brilliant. Damon Wayans was hilarious. That and Major Payne were two roles I remember him the most. I love the Wayans brothers." Remember when In Living Color was like a lot better than Saturday Night Live? Why did that show get canceled? It was never like that. It wasn't even, even when it got canceled, it was still funnier than Saturday Night Live. Meteor Man was cool. It was, but it's been so long since I've seen that movie. Dark Man. There's a good movie right there. Little Sam Raimi, Liam Neeson. That was a fun movie. Maybe that's something we should do on you know what? We should do either Meteor Man or Blank Man for our VHS vault. We'll have you guys pick. We'll flip a coin on that one. Maybe we'll pick a coin. Okay, so I'm going to go to some more news here. We're going to look. Oh my God, this is sacrilege. Okay, I'm going to complain about something now. So apologies, but I think you guys might be on board with this one. Okay, this is legit. So they're remaking The Crow with Jason Momoa. Don't have a problem with that. I think he's a little too buff. I would like to see him lose a little weight, look a little more gothy. I don't mind other people playing The Crow. That's how it rolls in the comic books. But the word on the street is they're like remaking the original, which no, you don't get to do that. Now, if they change their minds and go out and make another story, which there is some they can adapt right now that are very, very good. But if you remake the original, yeah, that might be the first like protest. I'm not going to go see that shit. I love The Crow so much. It falls up in and out of, like, I get Prisoner of the Moment. I see Winter Soldier or something like that. Well, that's my favorite comic book movie, but like, it's kind of my favorite comic book movie. A lot of reasons. One of the best edited films of all time. They did the best with what they had. Best soundtrack. I mean, the score was good, and then the soundtrack was epic. Only soundtrack where you have, well, maybe not anymore, but the only soundtrack you had where you're singing about another superhero on a superhero soundtrack. There's a Ghost Rider song on that by Rollins Band, which I love dearly. Yeah, man, I feel like watching that movie like right now. It is so damn good. So I love that movie. And then the tragedy behind it, of course. I didn't even know it was being made. And I remember I was working at the warehouse and we got the soundtrack, and I'm looking, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a comic book. They're making a movie on this comic book? What? And my friend Doug, who shows up in the chat sometimes, and I played it so much they made a rule that I wasn't allowed to play the soundtrack anymore at the warehouse. And this is back in the day. Well, you guys don't even remember. So when we worked at record stores, we were allowed to pick our own music for a long time, and then they started picking it for us. Right around when Britney showed up. Do you think the Flashpoint movie will fix the DCEU? And that comes from Halam899 Live. I think it kind of could. It depends on who's doing it. I wish they wouldn't do that. You know what? Instead, yeah, I'm actually fine with them doing that. If they don't feel like they need to throw a bomb on everything and they just need to tweak some stuff and they need to do this to do it, then do it. What the hell? And you might get a good movie out of it. You could do a lot of fun things, but that way you keep Henry Cavill as Superman and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I'm not a biggest fan of that dude playing the Flash. But Jason Momoa Aquaman is fine. I was okay with the Justice League. I freaking love DC Comics and I want to see them do well. So yeah, if it fixes it, cool. I don't know what they're doing over there. I I don't know if it's got much of a chance. I don't know if we're even going to see a Flashpoint movie at this point. I don't know. But yeah, I'll get crap for this, but I kind of like Batman versus Superman. I don't know. Maybe I've drank the Kool-Aid too much, but the director's cut, I mean, it's not a good movie. It's not perfect, but it's watchable. And the Batman scenes are cool. Like him actually fighting. Think about it. Like with all the Batman movies we've seen, how many times have we seen him like actually be Batman, fight? Dark Knight. Okay, we got a good one. We got with the light up eyes and the 3 levels. Okay, that was good. That was really good. But in the Burton first Batman movie, he fights for like 30 seconds with the guy with the swords and then dances around with the Joker for a little bit, and that's it. Batman Returns, which I love, he doesn't do a lot. He punches a couple of clowns and gets his ass kicked by Catwoman, which that's okay. I'd like to get my ass kicked by Catwoman too. But Halam 899 Live says I'm a DC fanboy, and I am too. I'm a fan man. So I own my basement. No offense though. That's okay. It's all I don't, the fanboy is not a negative connotation to me. Yeah. Yeah, I feel the Blaze 8 says, yes, I feel like they're going to scrap the entire DCU. It's not doing as well as they wanted. Yep, that is true. What did Viking bitch say up there? As good as Wonder Woman is, I still say reboot, start over from scratch, says Mr. Langley. I'll go back up a little. Langley, Mr. Neely. I always say Mr. Langley. I don't know. I kind of like that. Kind of sounds like a, I don't know, like a spy. Yeah, and he also said, I think the DCU is screwed until a reboot. I agree with you there. I don't know if Momoa is a strong actor. I don't remember him having a lot of dialogue in Game of Thrones. Yeah, the only scene that is a really strong scene is his call to war after when he decides, was it after he gives the golden crown to her brother? And he just says, because remember, he didn't want to go to war for a while. And Danny proved herself and they actually started falling in love. And there's just a scene of him romping around a fire going like, I'm going to go find the Tin Men or whatever, the men in the metal suits, and go kick their ass. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. That was a great scene. That was a really great scene, but it was in Dothraki. So I don't know if he was actually, but he pulled it off. So, and his Conan, that was a story. I don't know if that was him. God, I really like to see it. Yeah, I would be okay with him taking another crack at Conan. But yeah, as Dude Bro Aquaman, we'll have to see. I didn't hate it, but we'll have to see. Halam said, I was born in 2000. I'm a youngling. You are so young. 18. Shouldn't you be in school? No, I'm just kidding. Get a new Batman, says Halam 899. Yeah, I think it's time. Plus Affleck really got caught up in that Me Too stuff. So yeah, he's done. He's done. He was asked to leave. I think he'll do one more, I think. I didn't hate him as Batman, but I can't see. Every time I see him now, I think of ass grabber Affleck. Oh, okay, that is a nerd question. I like that. Halam 899 Live says Raja Ghul versus Boba Fett. Who would win in a fight? Raja Ghul. Boba Fett would get sucked into some Sarlacc pit, no, he would get sucked into the Lazarus pit and just keep coming back. But his jetpack would just keep flying him in and out. The idea of Boba Fett, like the badass one that they show in the comics, sometimes would be tough. But Raja Ghul, I give it to Raja Ghul. Raja Ghul's 100% badass. Jody asks, Gary, now we know how the other Avengers felt when they realized Spidey was young in Captain America Civil War. I know. That was a cool scene. I loved everything. Yeah. As much, I wasn't horrified with the identity reveal. I thought it would be an interesting change, and I knew they would change it back somehow. They'd use some kind of wacky magic or something. So I thought it was fun, and I love the reaction because I like that reaction in Spider-Man 2, when the mask comes off for the 80th time in that movie. And they're like, "Oh, it's just a kid." I dig that. I do like that. Mr. Neely says Raja Ghul wouldn't break a sweat. Nope, you are right. Uh, yeah, Ghul would take him down. Spider-Man is only 14 or 15. Well, it depends on what we're watching. In the movies, yeah. In the comic books, he's pushing 30. He's been pushing 30 for the last 30 years, 25, 30, somewhere in there. I don't mind him being a kid in the movies, but I really want him to be married to Mary Jane. I like the whole family aspect of it. And, it's good to have a married couple. Okay. Come on, throw a bone to the dads. Not, or maybe not a dad, but yeah, damn kids, Viking bitch. uh, yes, that makes you the Halam 899 is the Spidey of the chat group. That's right. Oh, there goes my mouse. That's what happens when you're using two of them at a time. Oh man. Oh, did you hear about the solo posters, everybody? I guess I'm going to talk about Star Wars just real quick here. I'll show you. A little bit of plagiarism happened. Little bit of plagiarism. Where'd it go? There we go. This is kind of funny. I don't know if I guess the word on the street is that DC farmed it out, and maybe it was the original artist who so I don't know for a fact, but here I'm sharing it with you now. So here are the solo posters, and yeah, if we go down here, looks like it's Sony's Music Legend compilations, and they look a lot alike. I love the art, by the way. I think it's cool. I think those look really cool. And that also looks like I'm forgetting his name now. When an artist friend of Melissa does stuff like that too. So I don't think it's just Sony that does this. So, but that's a word they like in Hollywood. That's problematic. Um, so yeah, there's that. I'll leave it alone there. Solo's having a hard enough time. Good looking posters though. I do. Plagiarized or not, doesn't take away the fact that they're good looking. And then yeah, that's all I've got on my oh, and then there's a cool little Snyder Easter egg in with the aforementioned Justice League. I really want to see a Snyder cut. Okay, I am so down with this movement. I love it. I know the movement's getting a lot of shit. They shouldn't. There's a bigger, better movie out there, and you would just make more money. I don't know how much it would be to cut the damn thing, but there's another little Easter egg that was kind of cool. I wanted to show you guys if it's still here. Oh, maybe I got rid of it. Hang on a second. Maybe I got rid of that window. Damn it. Do, do, do. So there's this the Easter egg is there's just a shot of dang it, I just got rid of it. So hang on, I'll find it again. There's is like a Dark Knight shot in it. That's pretty cool. That I don't know if it's actually in yes. Dark Knight Easter egg. Here we go. Sorry, this is live podcasting here. And we'll screen share again. There we go. You guys have probably seen it by the time I've been freaking looking it up. And I don't want to be showing. Oh my God, Bleeding Cool, you suck. Your videos. Yeah, so there's that. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm sure you guys can see that now. But Is it still just showing that ad? Come on. There we go. There it is. So pretty cool scene. That's supposed to be Flash tripping right there. And yeah, I thought that was cool. So he threw a lot of stuff in. Again, this Zack Snyder gets a lot of crap, a lot of crap. And I've told the story before that I had a friend work for him and said he's a super nice guy. I guess Snyder has said some pretty salty things about the Marvel universe, but he's from DC. That's he's supposed to do that. The guy got royally freaking screwed and also went through a tragedy, but got screwed on top of it. So to hell with you, WB, for what you did to that dude. And I hope we see a Justice League, a proper Justice League, but at least a Justice League recut, kind of like this. Again, the Superman Batman extended version is good. And there's been a pretty good argument that he's better at the Watchmen super director's cut. That's 4 hours long, is much better than the theatrical version that came out. If you're, I know not everybody loves that movie, but again, I will say it like I said it before. That's one of my top 10 movies. I love it, and Rorschach in there is just amazing, amazing. So, and Dave Gibbons, the artist, loves the movie. So, and those of you who are on Patreon, we're gonna see him talking about it very, very soon. It's gonna be one of my things to do. I Okay, so never understood the obsession with putting Solo out in May. I think because they pushed it off so much, they really wanted to get that date. Because that's when Star Wars traditionally comes out. It's traditionally a summer movie. I think they would be better off putting it out like in some weird month that's like a September or something like that. Because I think it would make the most money. I mean, this movie's still going to make a ton of money, and who knows, it could be good. This could be the one where everybody just went, okay, well, I don't know how many people would admit it, but we'll go, I was wrong, yeah, maybe December. I don't know what's coming out in December this year. I think it's kind of light, to be honest with you. So why not? Why not? Let's go back a little bit. I want the actor who plays Betty Cooper in Riverdale as Gwen Stacy in the MCU. How old is she compared to Tom Holland? I mean, Tom Holland's older than he looks, right? So yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. I want to see Gwen Stacy in the MCU, but done right. Done right. I mean, which means you need to have her in like 3 or 4 movies before you do the deed. Yeah, let's say they completely ruined the ending of Watchmen, though, Gary. Plus, there was too much blue cock for my taste. I could have done a little less of the glowing blue member, but I understand. I actually understand the change of the movie, the ending. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but it's different. It's supposed to be different. I don't know if it was budgetary. They wanted to tell a stronger message, and they thought it would have more impact. And they also kind of thought the ending was too 80s of the time. Again, I don't totally agree with that, but tell you what, Watchmen is the movie a lot of comic creators love. They love it. I don't know why. Comic creators have really weird taste, though, when it comes to film. He's 3 months younger than Tom Holland. Oh, that's perfect. They were born in 96. Jesus of Anaheim. Like Ash said last night. That's going to be my new saying. Jesus of Anaheim. I swear the actor will be played. Liz Allen is 28. Yeah, how old Tom Holland? Tom Holland's my son's age. So he's 21. Okay. My oldest son's age. Liz Allen. All right. So what we have to look forward to, oh boy, Don't mess with the mic there. Okay. I'm going to do some business here. We've got, we're going to do Star Wars Rebels. It will be tonight or tomorrow, but I'll be sure to let you guys know via the Twitter and Facebook. We're also back with the X-Files on Wednesday, normal time, 9:15. Friday, we're going to do 8 o'clock. It's going to be closer to 8 now. I've got the whole, my work drive home is a little longer than it used to be. So I've got that worked out now. So we're now going to start at 8 instead of 8:30 and freaking 9 like we have been starting. So yeah, so my 45-minute drive from work as opposed to the old one, which was like 5. Had to get used to it a little bit, but it's a great job. Then it's a lot of Jessica Jones. It's Jessica Jones, yeah, the Friday, then Saturday, then Sunday. We're moving Ash versus Evil Dead to Monday because we're going to have a special co-host with us for here on out. Susan Layton from 1428 Elm, fan sided. She threw us a shout out on a couple of her on a couple of posts she wrote for 1428 Elm, and she is a rad person, and she's like pumped up our channel, and she knows a lot about Ash versus Evil Dead. So I wanted to have her on. It'd be nice to have a lady voice on, you know. I thought it'd be cool. And you know, we'll see how it works out. Tell us what you think, you know. Your guys' feedback is very important, and it doesn't always have to be good. I don't yeah, I hate not knowing like if there's you know, like salad on my teeth or something like that, you know, something like that. We need to know. We need to your feedback, positive and negative, is appreciated. I'm going to be working on a lot of Patreon stuff. We're going to be doing 2 Patreon things a week. They'll probably end up both being live just because it's easier to do. But we're going to start. One of them will be some things we pick, and then the other thing is what you guys pick. And we'll rotate through the picks. And we're going to start out with Venture Brothers from Viking Bitch, but we'll get to everybody's request. So am I going to... RoboBrain 10,000. What's up, dude? So you're gonna binge all 13 episodes of Jessica Jones prior to the podcast? No, I will do. I will have binged. Well, I might. I mean, it depends on the time. But the plan is to watch the first half before Friday, and then have it done by Sunday. So that's why we're gonna split the podcast in 2. Because I work through Saturday. Sunday and Mondays are my days off. So, yes. What time will you do Ash vs. Evil Dead on Mondays? Good question, Viking Bitch. Thank you for asking. It's going to be at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. We're going to try to make it as early as possible. That's when Doug. That's when I saw Doug's name in the chat. That's when Dennis gets home. What's up, Doug? More jaded hipster douchebaggery. That's what you really think of my podcast? Yeah, that's about right. I'm going to go have some fucking toast after this. Viking Bitch says, I love Venture Brothers. I don't think you love it enough. You only put it 3 times. Kind of questioning your love for the Venture Brothers. A little bit. Yeah. Jody says Rebel series finale is tonight. Dennis was really pushing hard for me to watch it, so we podcast tonight. So we'll see how my errand goes. If I can watch some of it while I'm driving, probably can pull it off. I love you too, Doug. You little boogie. How you been, man? You and your kids. Freaking kids. Man, they're such time sucks, aren't they? Whew. Money, feed me, love, fucking needy. Yeah. I started to watch Star Wars versus the Star. What is that? Star versus Force of Evil. What's that? I don't know what that is. Gary, even if you don't cover it, hope you can check out The Last Kingdom. It's BBC's new show, only been 2 seasons, so 16 episodes total. If you recommend it, I will check it out. I will check it out. I think I've heard of it. Halam 899 Live says the Darth Vader comics is saving Marvel at the moment. It is pretty damn good. Not going to argue with you there. Nerdrotic channel. Hey, actually, man. Hey, actually, man. If you could request you wait to do it tomorrow, I'd appreciate it for us East Coasters. Yeah, we can do it tomorrow. That's okay with everybody. That'd give me extra time to watch it. It'd still be kind of late though, but yeah, because if we did it tonight, it'd be at 10. I don't want to do it that late. So yeah. So we'll do it tomorrow, like 7:30, something like that. Of course, I gotta uh clear it with the boss. Make sure there's nothing on our schedule. She's got an art opening, so but it looks good. Okay, there you go. Viking bitch. A couple more loves there. Now I'm convinced. George R. R. Martin tweeted about it and was promoting it instead of Game of Thrones. Oh, I'm sure Dan and Dave were just fucking stoked about that. Oh my god. Uh, it's 10:30 p.m. in the UK. Is that where? Oh, well, obviously, is that where you are, Halam, or you just tell me what time it is in the UK? No, I know you're there. Oh, it's 10:30 in the UK. I love the UK. I will not shut up about my trips to London. And my wife, like, I say every year we're going back, and we really are very soon. Freaking love London. She went to teach at the Vidal Sassoon Academy, so we got like this free trip, and we were there for 2 weeks. But I didn't see my wife the whole time there because she was teaching. So I put on a backpack and walked around for 2 weeks, London, just explored everything. It was the best time. Made a bunch of friends. It was cool. Loved it. I haven't touched Rebels yet. Looking forward to it though. Yeah, it's actually really good. It's really good. Uh, oh, you want to know my opinion? Langley asked me my opinion on Marvel Unlimited and Comixology Unlimited. Awesome. I think they're great. I don't think those are direct competition to comic stores because a lot of that stuff that's there would be dollar bin stuff anyway, and a lot of the stuff that you can get on the subscription is a little bit older. So I think it's used to get people reading comics to get them into the comic store. So I like it. I like it. It's tricky with digital. As a comic shop owner, I wish it would go away forever. The modern stuff, because eventually they're going to make it cheaper, as it should be. And that's going to be direct competition in the comic store. But an argument could be made, like they sell books all the time that are on Amazon for half the price, and people go in and buy them. Sometimes time is more important to people than money. So it's like, I'd rather, instead of waiting for something to get shipped, I need a gift right now, or I want to read it right now, and it's just $5 more or whatever. Some people, I do that all the time. Plus I also actively go out and say, I still want there to be stores. And if I don't shop in one once in a while, there won't be. And at least if there's something wrong, you can talk to somebody. And if you buy something from Amazon, you can't talk to another person about comics. Now things are changing. You got YouTube and the chat, everything, but, Comixology and Marvel Unlimited, I get them. They're good. They're good. Comixology's app is kind of wonky sometimes, but not bad. Not bad. I don't know what they're going to do with the future though with comics. They need to make the comic books cheaper. I talked about it in my video. They need to do everything they can to make those things cheaper, because creeping up to $4 is just, that's too much. And then you're getting ads on top of that. So they need to go back to pulp. Two things are great about pulp. It just looks better. Yeah, there's the argument, like with the new digital coloring, it'll look kind of mucky. It's like, no, there's ways around that. It looks better. If you're a collector, it's easier to destroy, so it'll make rare books. So it'll make books valuable again, and it weighs less. So you're saving money in shipping. When you're moving around your long boxes, I would much rather move my long box full of old Bronze Age than modern. There's sometimes a 15-pound difference. Okay, so your modern long box can weigh up to 30 to 50 pounds, packed tight. Bronze, it's like 20 maybe. Uh, Print is a tough business into that. Yes, it is. That's why you need to go cheap. And Alterna Comics is revolutionizing that. I'm going to support the hell out of them. They do creator-owned content. They got a whole line of stuff, and they're making comics cheaper. And this might be the thing that I don't know if it's going to save it, but it's going to help. It's going to help. We need the big boys to do it, though. We need the big boys. Geo Online and closing shop in 5 miles. And before it closes down, the shop was a half a mile away. Yeah. Yeah. We got a store closing here in San Francisco. We just lost one in Rockland, which is kind of far, about 100 miles away. In Rockland near Sacramento. We almost lost the one I shop at in San Rafael, but they were able to lock it down and to stay for a little while longer, which is good. The shop I shopped at in San Diego is going away. And that sucks. Yeah. And yeah. It's got to go back to like it was the old days. You got to go. It's going to be in a low rent area. You're going to have to search out your comic shops, which you kind of do anyway. And it's just weird to see a comic shop in a nice neighborhood. It's always got to be in some kind of a, not a bad neighborhood, but just a disreputable neighborhood. That's where it should be. A little layer of dirt is okay. Yeah, we have a local game and hobby shop store for tabletop wargaming that I always try to support. Yep. Got it. Definitely. And those are great. That's people actually socializing face to face. So I'm a big fan of that. You can get around digital coloring. Just take a look at old Prince Valiant. Yep. Prince Valiant. Oh man, those are good. So damn good. I do not read any Power Rangers or Archie comics. I'm sorry to say. I am straight. I like my superheroes and then the occasional, like, really weird independent thing. Gary, you mean something less polished? More like grit? Yes, grit. I like things. Yeah, I don't like polished. Not the same thing, but I also miss the actual hand-drawn animated series and cartoons. As much as I like Star Wars Rebels, I'd love to see Rebels actually 2D hand-drawn style. Oh, yes, agreed. Dennis would be applauding you right now. Yeah. Computer animation is cool, but if you're going to go computer animation, then go like a little more realistic. I've gotten used to the look of Star Wars Rebels, so it's okay. But dude, that Clone Wars that was done by the Samurai Jack guy, those were badass. Those were so cool. Love those. See, that's me complimenting Star Wars again. Uh, comic plus board, tabletop gaming plus coffee. It sounds hipstery and great. I want to do that. Coffee will be free. We'll take donations. Coffee's cheap. Yeah, somewhere. No, Dennis is not smiling. He'll crack like his face will like inch up a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of look like those people who smile who don't know how to smile. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he's smiling somewhere. He might be watching. I doubt it though. He doesn't listen to our own podcast, so I'm the only one who listens to him. I have to. Speaking of which, Gary, did you watch Samurai Jack? Yes, I did. Watched the hell out of that show. Loved it. It got promoted at Comic-Con like a million years ago, and I picked up one of the flyers. I'm like, oh, this looks fun, and watched it. Yeah, loved it. Doug Johnson, what is the name of the San Rafael shop you go to? My kid needs to visit. Blue Moon Comics. Blue Moon Comics. It's on 4th. It's about a mile away from my work. So, yeah. They're pretty good. I mean, it's typical comic shop. They got a little bit of back issues, a little bit. They play it safe, and that's how you got to play it right now. They're not super extravagant. It's just a solid comic shop, and the owner Sam is a nice dude. Go see him if you're in the area. Gary, what is it? I'm not going to pronounce that name, but yes, the Clone Wars series. Yeah, that was awesome too. Yeah. But the guy who did Samurai Jack, yeah, both Clone Wars series were good. The end of the one that led in the Rebels was, I will say, epic. It was emotional and deep and had like really good storytelling, and I was totally wrapped into it and and pissed at the same time, going, "This is what we could have had. How come the cartoon could like? There's no excuse for that." But it did help a lot, and I think it helped change a lot of people's opinions of the prequels because they had that. And so I imagine, being a kid growing up and watching that and see, that would be the thing that would keep a Star Wars fan. And I think that's the thing that's kept a lot of kids Star Wars fans, is the Clone Wars. So 5 minutes from your house. You want to give everybody your address? We'll go see you. Just kidding. Really? That's interesting. Okay. Oh, there's some crosstalk here. Sorry. I'm like laughing at stuff that nobody's going to see. Hopefully this freaking turns over soon. YouTube, get on it. Filoni is a modern day master, says Mr. Neely. Yes, he is. And Dennis has been wanting him in charge of Star Wars. I think he should be. I mean, at the Kathleen Kennedy level, or at the very least, like, fine, if you want to keep her in charge, keep her in charge, but give him all creative, because Kathleen Kennedy has never been about the creative side at all. She has been about the business side. And yeah, creatively, she's not very good. She's not very good. I mean, she's got a great body of work. Don't get me wrong. And man, that's one of the, I that's one of those names. You were a Star Wars fan back in the day because you knew who Kathleen Kennedy was, and Frank Marshall. You knew names of associate producers and stuff like that. So, dude, oh, you live in San. Oh my God, what are you stalking George Lucas, Doug? You live in San Rafael. Yeah, I got the hint. How long have you lived up there, Doug? Man, he lives near Lucas. He lives near Skywalker Ranch. Is George your neighbor? Do you ask him to borrow sugar? Yeah, so they give, that's when Star Wars made kids learn what a sound editor was. Like Ben Burt, we knew who Ben Burt was. He was a rock star to us. Oh my God. The best thing Ben Burt does, as a matter of fact, I have it hanging on a wall out there, is he did it's a storybook. It's a story of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Doug knows what I'm talking about. I played the hell out of this. And it's the story of Raiders of the Lost Ark in album form, but Ben Burt remixed all the sound effects. So it's the soundtrack. Remember the Star Wars story records, guys, the older guys out there? There used to be a narrator and you'd kind of like listen along and listen to the story. This is before VHS and stuff. So they did a Raiders of the Lost Ark one with just Ben Burt remixed all the sound effects, and it is awesome. It is so good. Since October. Wow. Well, yeah, I'm going to be moving up there pretty soon too. Not to Lucas Valley Road, but up north. Yeah. Yeah. Burt was a pioneer. Burt was a genius. Oh my God. He did a thing at Comic-Con. It was for Wall-E. And yeah, that was one of the best panels I've ever been to. It was just Burt talking about Wall-E and all his sound effects and stuff. And yeah, man, it's good stuff. But yeah, that Raiders thing is so good. I wonder if I can. I don't know if it's out there. I'll probably get in trouble. But if I can put the MP3 on the website if you guys want to hear it. I can hide it. I'll send you a link. Maybe I'll do that later in the week. You saw Phil Tippett at jury duty. Are you supposed to tell people that? That's funny. Well, yeah, we used to see all kinds of, man, we used to see Robin Williams would roll around all the time. Yeah, that's sad. But not anymore. But Robin Williams is a huge comic and toy collector. And he hit every comic shop in San Francisco. But if Filoni has creative control, should it mean Kathleen Kennedy or others cannot muck around with it? Agreed. Like they can't touch that stuff. Phil Tippett's kid became an actor, and I can't stand him. He was in the Temporal Cold War. He was in the Temporal Cold War officer in Enterprise. Oh wow, really? Enterprise, something I've grown to appreciate later. The finale of Clone Wars before it got canceled was Ashoka versus Darth Maul. What a fight, which we missed. Yeah. But the Ashoka coming back in Rebels and with the setup for that, now whoa, that was great. Oh my god, that was great. We could, yeah, like Dennis was talking about on Friday, an Ashoka movie. I would watch the hell out of that. It's a built-up character. There's a female. She's a female. Last time I checked, and I hate the term strong female because then you're insinuating that all the other females are not a strong, independent woman, but all the other ones aren't. You're just a woman. So she was a good character that I would have watched, and maybe they'll do something. Pablo Hidalgo. Yeah, I know who Pablo Hidalgo is. I do. Yes. A lot of people don't trust Pablo Hidalgo. A lot of people, his name is dropped as being like the filter for Kathleen Kennedy. As a matter of fact, I just saw that in a video last night. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's what they say. They say on the internet. Can't always believe them now. Okay, sorry. I was reading and I should read it out loud. Are all the quote unquote women better than men messages in Star Wars TLJ courtesy of Miss Kennedy? If so, should they let the story do the storytelling? I hate. Oh, cut. Hang on. Meta narratives. See, I can't read. Public school education. I hate meta narratives like that. It's so ham fisted and heavy. It is. It is. Things start with the boss. I promised I wouldn't bitch about Star Wars. I think things start with the boss, but the writers put their names on it. So I think that narrative came from higher than Kathleen Kennedy, I believe. I believe that came from Disney, like way up. And it's the same narrative that was going to Marvel. And it's the faction of a corporation that truly runs it is the marketing teams. The marketing teams want to go a certain way. I don't understand why they went this way, but they want to go to a certain way. And whether people believe it or not, it is perceived that that is the message in Star Wars. And sometimes perception is reality. And there's enough people saying it, and not all those people saying it are misogynists and a-holes. So I think it's something they've heard. I bet you we see a change. I bet you we see a big change. Sometimes it takes time for the change to get enacted because you can't just like change Star Wars on a dime. But it's on Kathleen Kennedy's watch. I've not been a big fan of her. I don't think she's handled Star Wars well. The harshest criticism I have is they said they didn't have a plan. I wish they would have planned it out a little more. That being said, there's still hope. There's always hope for Star Wars. They could turn it around, but the original trilogy, yeah. And I love Luke Skywalker. I finally saw that picture people were talking about where the girl who works in some capacity for Star Wars was doing a video, and there's a little poster on the side of her, and there is a big red X through Luke Skywalker's face. So I don't know how to take that. I don't know what that means. Maybe she doesn't like him, or maybe it was like a joke, like he's dead now. We killed another one. Ha ha ha. I don't think there's some nefarious thing behind it. I mean, I have a lot of weird artistic things I wouldn't want to show or talk about on my desk, which are just like doodles or whatever. So I don't think to read too much into it, but I did see that. That was a little odd, right? Alpacro says, "Hail Doomcock." Doomcock is so funny. Okay, he is hilarious. I love him. I subscribed to him twice. I subscribed to him with my other channel when he was close to 1,000. So I ran over to my other channel and subscribed to help him get there. He doesn't know we exist though. Oh, that was on some other guy's desk, so that wasn't hers. So yeah, so it could have been a guy. So it's a dude. So maybe it's a dude just going, "Ha ha, we knocked another one off," and that's probably all it was. She shouldn't get embarrassed for that. That sucks that she got embarrassed for it and probably caught a lot of hell. Um, yeah, it's people do all kinds of. I mean, like, yeah, you can't. There's a grand conspiracy because somebody marked an X through. Maybe Mark Hamill pissed that guy off. It's a possibility. There's still problems there, and God, we've talked about it so much. Go to our past 80 podcasts. Sorry. But we will review Star Wars Rebels, and it'll probably be a damn good one. I would love for Doomcock to make an appearance on this channel. I'll do a shout out. I just don't. I mean, he requires production value. So I'll shoot him a message that we freaking love him, and I want to help him conquer the world. Do whatever I can. But it's pretty funny. That was a very clever idea. It requires a lot of work, but if he gets more content, he needs to get more content. I think he puts a lot on Patreon, but he really needs to put more content on his channel, and he will do very, very, very well. We're gonna wrap it up here in a few minutes. I got errands to run. I can feel my wife's gaze through the door. Going. Uh, Kennedy was the one who decided everything was connected, and then she doesn't connect anything. I know. Why? Why throw out your cannon? I don't understand that. Just say everything counts, and if we, take out some. You know what I mean? Like, take bits and pieces. I don't know. They're just. Why would you buy this whole thing and then get rid of half of the thing you bought? I know you want to make it your own and everything, but that was silly. Again, options. Leave yourself options. I guess they can just copy it and say it's their own, and then maybe not have to give that person, royalties. I don't think they would get any though. I can't see George going, "Yeah, you get a piece of this character." Nah. Yeah, I don't even want to say it on this channel. It's something that a lot of channels that have dealt with Ghost World, there is a lot of things going on. We'll just say this: when things get big, and I've said this before, a lot of people want to attach themselves to it, and it gets hijacked by agendas. It is not just Star Wars. This happens to pretty much everything that gets like really big. It starts getting too big, and it stops being genuine. It stops being about itself and becoming about, well, we need to use Star Wars to send a message because it gets out to the people and it's important. It's like, no, you need to entertain people, and there's time to send messages. Okay. Especially when, are these messages vetted? Are they for everybody? Or are they, especially if it's just a director's opinion or something, which is fine. You could throw that in your own book or something like that. That's cool. Like I said, Alan Moore is a nut. I read the crap out of his stuff, but he's a straight up nut. He thinks he's a wizard. I mean, he might be for all I know. I don't know. Well, what was that last woman meeting about then? I gotta see what that is. I gotta see what that was a rep to. YouTube censors Doomcock. That's probably why. Yeah. I don't. God, the other stuff they leave on, like he's nothing. Women are conspiring to take over the world, Viking bitch, and I think you're leading the charge. And I don't know if it's go for it. It's exhausting. It really is exhausting running the world. I'd like a day off. Just kidding. No, I'm not against that at all. It reminds me of a story. Okay, so when Twilight took over Comic-Con, it pissed off a lot of people, right? And myself included. I was like, it doesn't belong at Comic-Con. But then a good friend of mine, Joe Borelli, comes up to me and goes, "Are you complaining about girls being at Comic-Con?" I'm like, hmm, never really thought about it like that. I was more thinking of the quality of the movie, and I have seen the movies, and they are not good. Um, but and it certainly was responsible for bringing the normies to Comic-Con, but it also opened like there was no women at Comic-Con. They were trickling in before that, but I mean it's now a good 50-50 there, which is great. And so when he flipped the script on me like that, I'm like, I can't argue that point. I really can't. You're right. It's good to have women at Comic-Con. What the fuck am I saying? It's like snap out of it. So yeah. It's only been like 4 years. We'll introduce stuff once it's gone away. Old canon. Sorry, that's some crosstalk there. I'm like losing the conversation here. Yeah, you're right. You can't buy the property and keep everything. You wipe it all out, cherry pick what you need. You have to admit there is a ton of crap in Star Wars Legend stories. Oh, there's tons. But there's also some really good stuff. And like I wouldn't have the solo twins is not something I would have messed with. I think that's really good. I think that was the one of the best things about it. So um it's only been like 4 wheels. They will reintroduce stuff, but you can't have it all at once. It's not wait, it's one way to bring in older canon. Look at how they introduced Thrawn. It was perfect, and that was good. I would like to see Thrawn in live action. But he's a badass. He's kind of like the Raja Ghul of Star Wars. Um uh, oh, you know, yeah, no, Star Wars will be fine as long as they don't give up on it, because they're going to have some rough times. The next couple of years are going to be rough because of what they've done. But if they course correct, uh, if the new animated series is good, but, they've got the Star Wars land, and they're going to make tons of money off that, no matter what. I'm going to go to that. I can't wait to walk around in a Millennium Falcon. Hell yeah, So, they've got that going for them. We'll see. We'll see. But the cautionary tale is what's going on with Warner Brothers, and I've said it before, is you buy all these things to in the future to sell some of them. I think Star Wars is like one of the things they keep. The Marvel superheroes, I don't know if they can keep them both. It costs a lot of money to keep both of those things going. They're making them a ton of money right now, but reading the tea leaves, there's the law of diminishing returns, and Disney used to be really good at avoiding that. And I think they need to kind of go back to the vault system of just like putting shit away for a few years and then coming back with it later. I think that's really a great move, and that keeps your stuff kind of fresh. Like Pixar. Pixar used to they're still good. Okay, Pixar's still good. They hit gold every time, but it's just not each movie's making a little less and less money. That's why we get an Incredibles 2. Thank God, can't wait for that. But it's just the specialness wears off, and it just becomes a thing now. And that's just as bad as failure is apathy. It's like people just not thinking about it anymore. So, but Disney's a clever company. They'll figure out a way. They'll figure out a way. Who knows? Maybe they'll buy DC Comics. That'd be weird. That would be weird. All right, I gotta go right now. Every Viking bitch. Am I gonna say Zephyr? Is it Zephyr Chan? Zephyr? You can correct me on that one. Sorry. Apple Crow, Viking bitch, Jody, Ghost World, the wonderful Langley M. Neely. Viking bitch. Have I said that twice? That's okay. Go to Doug Johnson, old friend of mine. Good guy. Really funny, by the way. Dante S. Oh, what happened? I know there's another one. I got to thank everybody. You guys hung out with me the whole damn time. Got to at least give you shout outs. Halam 899 live, RoboBrain 10,000, Blaze 8. That's the one I was looking for. And he just came at the big. I am Saya. Thank you all for coming in and joining me for the second annual Monday Nooner Delight. This one went way longer than I thought it would. I did not know I could talk to myself and you guys for that long. You guys are great. It's so fun to talk to you. So what the hell? We'll do it again next Monday until you guys get sick of this stuff. And catch us, all of our podcasts and videos, right? Nerdrotic.com. We have a live TV schedule there. Go check it out. Follow Dennis on Twitter. It's at DeForce, DAFORCE. And I am at Nerdrotics. John is at John Reed 16. And my wife is at Agent Bossy Boots on Twitter. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Nerdrotic podcast. There's also a group attached to that Dennis is running, is doing a great job. Susan Layton will be joining us on Ash vs. Evil Dead. We got a new time. It is Monday at 7 p.m. Yes, we will be doing Star Wars Rebels tomorrow night, probably around 7 or 8. And all kinds of fun stuff coming up on Patreon, including our Solomon Kane review, a live chat, and the Venture Brothers. So thank you, everybody. Oh, and yeah, I got to go way up there to see that super chat, right? There was a super chat. Oh my God, where'd it go? I hate it when they do that. I got Viking Bitch gave me a super chat for $1.99. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. You guys are the best. You really are. This is the best hobby ever. I've been in a band. I've done a lot of hobbies. I've made comic books. I've published comic books. I've ran comic stores. I've been in bands, played the bass and drums. And this is the most fun I have had in a collaborative hobby. I don't always want to do them alone because I really like doing stuff with my friends and Dennis and John and my wife jumping in once in a while. And, maybe one of you someday. That would be fun, right? We just, maybe on the Mondays, we could just start calling people in. That'd be kind of cool, right? Something you want to do. So, yeah, we'll think about that. Let's, there is new Venture Brothers coming out later this year, but Viking Bitch requested that we do Venture Brothers recaps, like a retro recap, and a reason to watch the Venture Brothers. Hell yeah. Yes, it is so great. All right. So until next time, everybody, may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Good night.